If you've ever felt overlooked, you're not alone. In a world that rewards the loudest, the brightest, and the most visible, those who quietly hold their own often go unnoticed. But silence is not absence. Silence is not weakness. Silence is power. It is the weight that presses down without being seen. It is the calm before the storm, the stillness that commands more respect than any shout could ever demand. The Stoics understood this. Epictetus, in his Quiet Authority, said, "Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue. Words once spoken cannot be reclaimed. But silence, deliberate and controlled, is an armor forged from choice, restraint, and mastery." Consider the world we inhabit now. Social media amplifies the voices of the restless. Every platform rewards reaction, applause, validation, and attention. Workplaces are crowded with conversations that often become competitions, arenas where ego masquerades as collaboration. Noise surrounds you at every turn, and yet in this sea of constant sound, silence has become rare, almost extinct. The paradox is clear. Those who learn to be silent, who choose their words with precision, hold the greatest strength. They are not driven by anger, by the need for approval, or by fleeting desires. They are self-possessed, they are sovereign, and in mastering themselves, they master every situation. In this video, you will learn 6 key situations where silence is your ultimate weapon. 6 moments in life where holding your tongue is not cowardice, but courage, not passivity, but power. By the end, you will understand that silence is never empty. Silence speaks, and it often speaks louder than any words ever could. Situation 1. When you are unfairly criticized. Imagine for a moment the sting of judgment that comes unearned. Perhaps you have spent weeks perfecting a project only to have it dismissed in front of others. Perhaps a colleague or superior misrepresents your effort, casting shadows where light once shone. Or at home, a family member questions your choices, your values, your intentions. The instinct is immediate: to defend, to fight, to be heard, to prove your worth. But here is the truth. Silence is stronger. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Responding to false words fuels the fire. Remaining silent extinguishes it. In those moments, your calm becomes a mirror. Ask yourself quietly, is there a lesson here, or is this simply noise to rise above? Your response is yours alone. When you choose silence, you assert that you belong to yourself, not to the judgment of others. Your dignity becomes unshakable, your integrity unassailable. Situation 2. When others boast, the air becomes thick with ego. At a gathering, at a workplace, even among friends, someone proclaims their achievements, flaunts their possessions, or amplifies their status. You might feel the urge to respond, to match, to assert that you are equally worthy. But consider this: those who boast often reveal their insecurity. They need the world to witness their value because they cannot feel it fully within themselves. The one who remains silent, who carries their achievements quietly, is the one who commands respect without effort. Silence in these moments is not passivity, it is confidence. It signals that your worth is self-contained, not dependent on the applause of others. Your actions speak, your consistency speaks, your character speaks. The noise of boasting fades. The quiet strength of dignity endures. Situation 3. When anger rises. Rage is a storm that can destroy the very foundations it touches. In moments of conflict, with a partner, a colleague, or a stranger, anger presents its seductive call. Sharp words form on your tongue. The impulse to strike back, to wound, to prove yourself is overwhelming. But Epictetus warned us, better to trip with the feet than with the tongue. A stumble can be forgiven. Words once spoken in fury cannot. Silence here is your shield. It is the space between instinct and action. It is reflection, transformation, and mastery. By pausing, by refusing to let anger command your voice, you preserve your peace, protect your relationships, and retain your integrity. Ask yourself, what matters more? My pride or my peace? My argument or the future of this bond? Let the storm pass, and when it does, speak if necessary. Speak when reason dictates, not when emotion commands. In anger, silence is a deliberate act of self-mastery. Situation 4. When faced with rumors, lies, or misrepresentation, the world is filled with those eager to manipulate perception. A careless word, or a false assumption, or an ill-intentioned rumor can spread like wildfire. The temptation to defend yourself, to justify, to shout the truth into existence is natural. But Stoicism teaches a subtler path. Marcus Aurelius observed that time and character reveal truth more reliably than any argument. Let your life, your work, your presence be the response. To engage in every dispute is to lower yourself to the level of the accuser. Silence preserves your dignity. Silence protects your energy. It signals confidence in truth itself. Trust that your actions, repeated and consistent, will speak louder than any momentary falsehood. When you choose silence in the face of lies, you are not conceding. You are asserting mastery over your life and over your perception of reality. Situation 5, when confronting loss or pain. Grief is a tempest without reason, a storm without mercy. The Stoics did not deny suffering. They embraced it, acknowledging its inevitability. Seneca said, "What need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears." When you experience the death of a dream, the loss of a loved one, or the end of a chapter you once cherished, silence allows the depth of feeling to unfold without distortion. Words often fail, advice feels empty, but in silence, you create space for healing, reflection, and understanding. You allow yourself to sit with sorrow, to confront it fully, and to emerge tempered, not diminished. Silence transforms pain into resilience, grief into wisdom, and loss into perspective. It is here in quiet reflection that you discover the strength that words cannot convey. Situation 6. When encountering insults. Words meant to wound are only effective if you give them power. Epictetus reminded us that others cannot harm our true self. Only our judgment of their words can. Consider the lives of those who endured ceaseless criticism. Gandhi, Mandela, and countless others whose actions spoke louder than the ridicule they faced. Responding to every insult is to relinquish control. Remaining silent is to reclaim it. Silence communicates restraint, confidence, and self-possession. It signals that your worth is independent of the fleeting opinions of others. In silence, insults lose their edge. They fall away, leaving only the clarity of your character. Let others speak. Let them cast their words. You do not need to participate. Your calm is your weapon, your restraint, your shield, and your silence, your declaration of mastery. Now take a moment to reflect. Think about the situations in your own life. Identify one. Perhaps criticism, perhaps anger, perhaps insult, where you can practice this principle today. Hold your tongue, observe, breathe, witness the power that emerges from measured restraint. Each time you resist the urge to react, your inner authority grows. Each moment of deliberate silence builds the foundation of unshakable strength. And in here, around the midpoint of your journey with this wisdom, I ask you to take one additional step. If the teachings here resonate, if you feel the pull of calm resilience, subscribe to this channel. Walk this path of discipline, sovereignty, and quiet mastery with us. Let the lessons guide your choices. Let the philosophy shape your presence. Here in this community of deliberate action and reflective living, you will discover the power of stillness in a noisy world. Subscribing is not just an action. It is a commitment to yourself, a pledge to cultivate strength from within, to master your responses, and to honor the dignity of restraint. Return now to our reflection. Remember that silence is multifaceted. It is armor, shield, and weapon. It is a channel through which strength flows. In criticism, it disarms. In boasting, it signals unshakable self-worth. In anger, it protects. In rumor, it preserves dignity. In grief, it nurtures healing. In insult, it asserts mastery. These are not abstract concepts. They are your tools, your practice, your daily training in the art of self-mastery. Silence is also an invitation to presence, to observe, to perceive, to feel the weight of each moment without distraction. When you hold your tongue, you hear more than the words themselves. You feel the intention, the desire, the insecurity, and the truth that hide beneath the surface. Silence teaches discernment. It cultivates patience. It awakens clarity. You begin to recognize which battles are yours, which voices deserve attention, and which are simply echoes of a world too busy speaking to listen. Do not mistake silence for passivity. It is active restraint. It is deliberate, chosen, and cultivated. It requires courage to remain unmoved while the world clamors for reaction. It requires presence to witness without immediate judgment. And it requires discipline to let your actions and character bear the weight of communication where words would falter. The Stoics did not seek to be heard above the crowd. They sought to master themselves above the crowd. In doing so, they commanded respect without demanding it. They demonstrated power without arrogance. They exemplified resilience without noise. Now visualize yourself as a solitary figure in a vast, storm-lashed landscape. The wind cuts across your face. Rain stings your skin. Lightning illuminates the horizon. All around you, chaos rages. And yet, within this storm, you stand unmoved, rooted, steadfast. Every gust, every crack of thunder passes by without altering your stance. This is the essence of disciplined ego. You are not defined by the external noise. You are defined by the quiet, unyielding presence within. You are the eye of the storm, calm, intentional, unshakable, and in this stillness, you discover the full measure of your strength. Let these principles become a practice. Each day, identify a moment where you will speak less, observe more, and act with deliberation. Let silence be the first response and discernment the second. Let restraint shape your interactions. Let your actions, your consistency, and your character communicate what words cannot. Measure yourself not by the applause of the world, but by the solidity of your own presence. Let the world rush past, noisy and restless. You remain steady, sovereign, unmoved, and in that steadiness, the world will notice, if not immediately, then inevitably. This is the creed of the modern Stoic: to walk quietly, to stand firm, to move only with purpose, to allow words to be measured, not reactionary, to respond when necessary, and to remain silent when it is wiser to do so, to cultivate strength, patience, and clarity in every action, to embrace the power of deliberate restraint, to honor your inner life above the clamor of the external world, to recognize that silence is not emptiness, but a vessel of wisdom, integrity, and calm authority. Take this week to commit to your practice. Choose one of the 6 situations: criticism, boasting, anger, rumor, grief, or insult. Observe your instinct. Pause. Reflect, breathe. Let silence guide your response. Measure its effect. Witness the change it brings, the steadiness, the dignity, the quiet authority that others cannot take from you. Each time you hold your tongue, you assert control over yourself. Each time you resist reaction, you reclaim sovereignty over your life. And through this, your presence becomes unmistakable, your energy undeniable, your impact enduring. And so, as this reflection draws to a close, remember, the world may tempt you to respond, to defend, to react immediately, but wisdom lives in stillness. Strength emerges in restraint. Dignity manifests in measured silence. The one who masters the tongue masters the self. The one who masters the self masters life. And when you cultivate this power, you walk through a noisy, chaotic world with quiet confidence, unwavering presence, and calm authority. Your silence is your armor, your restraint, your weapon, your calm, your sovereignty. And in this mastery of self, you are free. Make sure you subscribe to Disciplined Ego channel for more.